All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a really interesting question. What if the answer to being totally burned out at work isn't some new productivity app, but something ancient? We're looking at this wild mix of high-tech leadership and old-school wisdom, and, how it might just be the thing that helps you build a career that's not just successful, but actually feels good. So let's get into the mind of someone who lives right at that crossroads. So let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? You are absolutely crushing it at work, right? You're hitting all your targets, leading these huge projects, but inside, you are just completely drained. You're overwhelmed, maybe even a little lost. It's this crazy conflict of being a top performer. You look amazing on the outside, but you're just exhausted and confused on the inside. So, what do you do about that? Well, the answer might actually come from a leader who is the living, breathing example of this exact problem. His name is Sridhar Suswaram, and he's spent his entire life mastering two worlds that you'd think have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Yeah, people have called him the IT nerd turned coach, and honestly, that kind of nails it. For 36 years, he wasn't just in global IT, he was a major player, shaping how things were done. But the whole time, he was also on this other journey, a much quieter one. He was diving deep into spiritual wisdom, trying to figure out, the human operating system. Okay, so this is where it gets really, really interesting. Just look at these two sides of the same person. On one hand, you've got the ultimate systems guy, a CIO, a CTO, someone who speaks the language of AI and DevOps like it's his native tongue. But then on the other hand, you have a coach who's reading stuff like the Bhagavad Gita, that's this ancient Hindu scripture, all about finding your purpose, to understand the messiness of the human heart. It's this mix, this blend of code and consciousness that makes what he has to say so powerful. So you might be thinking, okay, this tech guru meets spiritual guide thing sounds cool, but does it actually work? Well, the proof is in two places, the performance and the purpose. Let's start with the hard numbers, the bottom line from his corporate days, before we get into the mission that's driving him now. First step, performance. In his tech leadership jobs, Sridhar delivered more than $27 million in savings. Just wow. But hey, it wasn't just about cutting costs. He also engineered some massive efficiency boosts. We're talking up to 55%, totally overhauling the complex systems he was in charge of. And here is the number that kind of brings it all together, connecting the systems back to the people. While he was doing all of that, saving money, boosting efficiency, he personally mentored over 700 people. This shows you his focus was always on two things, making the system better and making the people in it better too. And this is really what it all leads to. After this incredible career defined by metrics and tech, his focus has now shifted to something deeper. He sees himself as a guide for that professional we were talking about at the beginning, the one who's overwhelmed, confused, and just plain exhausted. The big takeaway here is pretty clear. He spent his life mastering complex systems, and now he's using that same laser focus to help people master themselves. Okay, so this brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How in the world do you actually connect these two things? How do you take decades of IT strategy and spiritual study and turn it into a practical system that you or I could actually use to make our lives better? The answer is a framework he built from the ground up, and it's called Big Brother V2.0. Now, the name is a pretty clever play on words. It's not about being watched, it's about being guided. Think of it like having a wise, experienced mentor in your corner, a system designed to connect your ambition at work with your actual well-being as a human being. So, how does this thing actually work? Let's break it down. The framework is built on three main pillars that, when you put them together, create this amazing synthesis of real-world skills and inner wisdom. Let's dive in. First up is Project Champion. This is all about those real-world leadership skills, the stuff you don't really learn in a classroom. Then it turns inward with Vision Dharma Tribe. Now, Dharma is this ancient idea about finding your true purpose. And this pillar uses that wisdom to help you deal with all the personal stuff that work-life balance, or lack thereof, throws at you. And finally, there's Work Smart's Nexus. This part looks to the future, giving you the practical tech skills you absolutely need to succeed in a world run by AI. See the journey there? It's from outer skills to inner purpose and then getting ready for the future. But what I find really compelling is how he does it. The whole framework is based on this simple idea to serve rather than sell. It's all offered through a really low-cost community model. And that focus on making it accessible, it just shows a real commitment to helping people. And that's exactly what you need when you're feeling exhausted and lost. You need support, not a sales pitch. And for anyone who's ready to really take their leadership to the next level, the framework also has these advanced paths like the Project Maestro and the Project Guru. These are for those folks who don't just want to manage projects anymore, they want to lead with a real, clear sense of purpose and mastery. So, we've just walked through this incredible blend of technology and spirituality, all through one person's amazing journey. But the real question, the one that really matters, is how does any of this apply to you? Let's turn the lens away from his story and point it right back at yours. The big idea here is synthesis. It's about blending all the different parts of who you are to be more effective, more whole. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. What are the two worlds in your life? Maybe it's being analytical and creative, or being a leader and being empathetic. What's one piece of wisdom from any part of your life that you can bring to your work tomorrow?